What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming back at y'all with another breaking news coaching update. And listen, if there was any question coming into, these past 2 weeks about whether this season has arguably had the craziest coaching carousel of maybe all time, then I think the resounding answer became yes. Yesterday afternoon, the Miami Hurricanes announced their hiring of Mario Cristobal, former Oregon head coach, now to be their head coach going into the future. Now, this was such a weird situation because here's the thing: the only thing that was weird about this is that the Hurricanes still technically had a head coach up until yesterday afternoon, in which Manny Diaz was not fired until Kristen Ball reportedly agreed to the deal set in place, and the Hurricanes were prepared to move forward with Diaz if Kristen Ball denied the offer. Now, there's a lot of people, including myself to a point, questioning the Hurricanes' tactics here to find a new head coach. I mean, I think they probably should have moved on from Diaz before all this became public about them negotiating with Kristen Ball, and they pretty much treated Manny Diaz as like a safety net almost. In terms of trying to find a head coach, which was not fair to Diaz in the matter at all. You needed to fire him, then move on and find your next head coach. But on top of that, this hire, Miami tried to do this in a very it's a you hardly ever see teams go through an AD and a coaching change at the same time. But right now, the Hurricanes are trying to negotiate with Clemson AD I believe it's Radakovich, to become the new Hurricanes AD. Which, if they landed both of Cristobal and Radakovich, this would wrap up an entire overhaul of Miami athletics and especially Miami football. So now Diaz becomes a free agent head coach. There's probably many teams looking to hire him as potentially a head coach at the group of five level or a defensive coordinator spot. But this signals a big change for Miami as Diaz, after 3 seasons, was 21-15, 0-2 in bowl games, and never won the ACC Coastal Division. And Diaz did release a statement and said, quote, "I am disappointed in the university's decision and the manner in which this played out over the past few weeks. The uncertainty impacted our team, our staff, and their families. These are real people that gave everything to this program, for them, I hurt." Um, but moving on here, the Miami Herald reported that Kristen Ball reportedly has agreed to an offer that will pay him more than $8 million a year, and that the Hurricanes have made additional promises to Kristen Ball, that additional financial commitments to Kristen Ball to support the financial program as a whole. This includes facilities, stadium upgrades, recruiting, staffing hires, etc., that all will be dedicated to building Miami into the football program it once was. So a lot of people may be wondering, why was Mario Cristobal the best choice for Miami's head coaching job? Well, first, the Hurricanes clearly had their number one choice. It was going to be Cristobal or they weren't going to make a move. And he's a former Miami Hurricanes offensive lineman, won 2 national titles over his 4 years under head coaches Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson. Cristobal's mother also lives in South Florida currently, and CBS Sports reports that her health is a concern recently, and that could be another big deciding factor in why Kristen Ball decided to return to South Beach. Now, in his career as a coach, man, he's been a grad assistant at Miami during 98 through 2000. He went to Rutgers for a short time, came back to Miami as the tight end and O line coach from '04 to '06 before taking his first head coaching job at FIU. Uh, there from '07 to 2012, 27-47 over 6 seasons, but he did take FIU from a 1-11 team in 2007 to a conference championship in 2010 in one of their first 8-win seasons ever in 2011. 1-1 in bowl games there, and was the 2010 Sun Belt Coach of the Year. And the AD ends up firing Kristen Ball and really took a lot of grief for it as almost a premature move to fire the young head coach at that time. Well, then he goes to Alabama 2013 to 2016, the assistant head coach, O line coach, and the recruiting coordinator. And this is where really and truly Kristen Ball's legend at this point really begins, where the Crimson Tide had the number one recruiting class at all 4 years with Kristen Ball as the recruiting coordinator. He was the 247 Sports National Recruiter of the Year in 2015. He finished second for that same award in 2016. His O line won the Joe Moore Award for the best O line in the country in 2015, and he produced two big first round picks in Ryan Kelly and Cam Robinson. Robinson, of course, winning the Outland Trophy for the Best Lineman Award in 2014. So on top of that, he goes to Oregon as the co-OC O-line coach in 2017, takes over the head coaching job for Willie Taggart in 2018. 35-13 overall record over 4 seasons, 2 Pac-12 championships, wins the division twice, 2-2 in bowl games, but that includes a huge Rose Bowl victory over Wisconsin, in which Oregon finished top 5 in the final AP poll. He also was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year in 2019 and has 15 players drafted since 2018, including 3 first-round picks, all top 10 picks: DeForest Buckner, Justin Herbert, and Penei Sewell. But on top of his very successful history, the major selling points for Kristen Ball to Miami are, one, his connections with the university. That's very important, and you hear this used with the Lincoln Riley splash hire with the big name, but the connection to the university should generate interest in boosters, fans, alumni, because Miami's in a very distracted market. You have a bunch of professional sports, you have a lot of things to do in South Beach. If your team isn't good, which we've seen the past few years, the attendance is suffering, the contributions to the university and the athletic department are going to suffer. So Miami felt like bringing in Kristen Ball was the best way to really generate more interest, more revenue, and also just kind of bring the U back to the face of South Beach. Now, on top of that, his recruiting presence and his knowledge of South Florida is absolutely two of the most major selling points for Miami. They need somebody to build not a wall, but build a net around Miami to catch some of these elite prospects coming out of Southern Florida. And also, they need a recruiter who can convince prospects from around the country to come to South Beach to play for the U. And Kristen Ball did that at Oregon, landing recruits from the South, from Texas, from the Midwest, all over the country to come to Oregon and play for him. So they have a very positive outlook that Kristen Ball can bring that to Miami. And on top of that, he's been a winner, man. He's worked on big staffs with Alabama and Nick Saban. He won at Oregon. He turned FIU into a winner after a few seasons. So Kristen Ball has a history of winning at every level, even as a player. As like I said, he won 2 national championships for this exact program. And on top of that, stability is the key word here, guys. If there's one word to really associate with this hire, the key word is stability. The Hurricanes have not had stability in a long time. And this is going to be a stat that blows a lot of people's mind, but no Miami football head coach has held the job for more than 7 seasons since Andy Gustafson in 1948, where he lasted until 1963. And the last 2 head coaches in Mark Richt and Manny Diaz only lasted 3 seasons. So the goal here for Miami is to hire Kristen Ball to offer some stability, stabilize the program over the next handful of seasons. Now, the big topic, man, recruiting impact for the Hurricanes and Kristen Ball moving forward. Now, this could be, as with every hire almost, this is one of the most important aspects of a head coaching hire, especially due to the surrounding nature of Miami and what's happened due to Diaz's questionable future. The Hurricanes are extremely behind schedule right now in terms of recruiting. The class currently ranks outside the top 50 in the country, 10th in the ACC, and only has a total of 8 current commitments as of December 7th today. Now, this is with only 2 weeks left till the early signing period starts. So Cristobal has a lot of work to do. When you compare it to what he had at Miami, they had a top 10 class before Cristobal was hired away. They've lost multiple commitments now. 5-star Kelvin Banks, 4-star TJ Dudley, 4-star quarterback Tanner Bailey. All of these guys have committed. So now the class still ranks 12th in the country, but was on its way to being a top 8 class just a week ago before Cristobal was linked to this job. Now, there have been multiple prospects who have announced their consideration of Miami due to the addition of Kristen Ball. I expect Miami to receive a strong boost over the next few weeks, especially depending on who Kristen Ball fills his staff with in terms of OC, DC, and multiple position coaches. Now, some of the players I'm going to mention next are ones that have already came out and made statements or have strong interest in Miami already and Kristen Ball. It starts with four-star cornerback Jaleel Florence, the 71st overall player in the country, number 8 cornerback. He's a current Oregon commit, but Greg Biggins of 247 Sports has talked to Florence and has announced that he is planning to potentially open his recruitment as soon as next week, and that he has spoken with Kristen Ball, and Florence is going to consider going to Miami with Kristen Ball. On top of that, 5-star wide receiver Kevin Coleman, the 33rd overall player, number 3 wide receiver in this class, was strongly considering Oregon, but told Inside the U of 247 Sports that he is going to be looking strongly at Miami because of Kristen Ball's arrival, and that an official visit is currently in the works after Kristen Ball fills his staff. Also, 5-star Shamar Stewart, 8th overall player in the country, the number 3 defensive lineman. He's a Miami-Dade native who is being strongly recruited by Kristen Ball at Oregon, and many reports now signal that the talented D lineman will officially visit the Hurricanes before his commitment on National Signing Day in February. Also, 4-star, I believe it's Najalik Kelly, 87th overall player, number 13 D lineman, another South Florida kid, already used one of his official visits to go visit Kristen Ball in Oregon, and now will look to use another one to go visit Kristen Ball in Miami. It could be a huge pickup for the Hurricanes. Now, some other names to watch just based on reports of them strongly considering Miami: Anthony Lucas, Earl Little Jr., Demario Tolan, and Ahmad Matan all have said that they are now considering Miami due to the addition of Kristen Ball. He has a long history of success in terms of recruiting at the P5 level, man. His time at Alabama as a recruiting coordinator, head coach at Oregon. Some of the players that he was the lead recruiter on at Alabama include Jerry Jeudy, Mika Fitzpatrick, Cam Robinson, Alex Leatherwood, Calvin Ridley, and Quinnen Williams. He was the lead coordinator before leaving, before leaving Alabama. Now, Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau, Panay Sewell, Justin Flo, Michael Wright, CJ Verdell, Noah Sewell, Todd Thompson, Micah Pittman are all some of the big names that he has been linked with on the recruiting trail. So Miami's hope here is that Kristen Ball can build what he built at Oregon, continue the recruiting success in the South like he did at Alabama, where he landed multiple kids out of the South Florida area to come play for the Crimson Tide. So the hope here is they got an alumni that is familiar with the area, connected with the university, should increase attendance, should increase focus on the program in a very complex and distracted area, which is South Beach. And that is going to be the hope for Miami and with this Kristen Ball hire. Now, the grade, man, I'm going to give it right now. If I'll skew the grades based on universities' perceptions, the fact that Miami was able to pull Kristen Ball out of that Oregon job after Auburn, after LSU. I mean, there were so many big USC. All these big programs wanted Kristen Ball, and he turned them down. Signed an extension last year. The fact that Miami was able to go extract him from Oregon, all the money that's up there in terms of Phil Knight, I give Miami a lot of credit for identifying their guy and finding a way to go land him. And I think this is an A+ hire for Miami because they got, like I said, they got a former player who's been a successful head coach in multiple stops, been successful from that Nick Saban coaching tree. And on top of that, he is the number one thing he can do is recruit, which is something that Miami hasn't done at an elite level over the past few years. And Oregon has had consistent top 10 classes under Kristen Ball. And like I said, as the recruiting coordinator at Alabama, landed 4 straight number 1 ranked recruiting classes. So for me, for where Miami has been over the past few years, this was a slam dunk hire for them. And right now, there's a lot of hope in Miami that, outside of Clemson right now, nobody has consistently been at the top of the ACC, and even Clemson took a big step back. And losing Brent Venables was a huge loss for Clemson, and also their AD might be headed now to Miami. And the hope is that facilities, a new stadium potentially, recruiting budgets moving up, staff hires increasing. All this will lead Miami to be the new face of the ACC, and we'll see if it works out. But for right now, where Miami was and the potential coaching candidates that were out there, A+ hire for Miami, in my opinion. I'm very excited to see what Kristen Ball can do down in South Beach. But guys, comment below what your thoughts are on this hire. Comment below your grade of this hire, and what do you think about how Miami handled the hire, keeping Diaz on staff just in case Kristen Ball turned it down. Let me know what you think about that. And was it a little dirty by Miami, or do you think it was just fair game because that's just the way coaching hires work? Let me know below. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and make sure to go check out all our other episodes that have been dropping this week. Best college football YouTube channel out there right now, man. I appreciate y'all supporting. I hope y'all are having a great Tuesday. Tune in tonight for our mailbag. We'll probably be breaking down this hire a bit more. But until then, guys, the Blue Bloods are out.